we've got it looks like the 28 car there, the white car running in the second spot. He kind of came out of nowhere.
Actually, I think that might be the G.E. Chapman machine. That might be the 29 machine. That's G.E. Chapman. They have 4 different levels of Legends car drivers. Pro Division, Semi-Pro, Chargers, which is rookies, and Masters, which is guys over 40, which I recently qualified for. And GE is one of the top Pro Division drivers out of Charlotte, so he's got a lot of trophies on his mantle, and he's awfully tough. So's John Craig and Brian Sockwell.
And GE has stepped to the outside as they go around slower traffic. Now you look to the inside of Mendenhall as they come off the 4th turn to complete another lap. Here he dives for the inside in the 29 car, but Mendenhall will shut the door in that Interstate Batteries number 18 car as they race down the back straightaway.
Now, GE Chapman will employ that. They have a sort of unwritten etiquette in Legends car racing. You can come up and squarely hit the guy in front of you. These cars have a bumper on them, front and rear bumper. As long as you hit him square, just to let him know you're back there, or maybe to push him up a little bit, that's okay. You come up and start hooking people, buddy, and pushing them out to the guardrail, then that's a whole other story.
Well, that's what they call a chrome horn, I think. And maybe, Mendenhall, I've been watching him run there. He's really tight, keeping the car tight around the bottom. And the 29 car is kind of running a little bit higher line off the corner, maybe getting a little bit better bite. But looks like Mendenhall right now is moving away.
He's got the biggest lead of anybody tonight so far, Roby.
That's right. Looks like he's pulled out to about a good 6-7 car lengths over the 29 car. The number 1 car still riding that second spot. So it looks like that the field's stringing out a little bit as we have had about 8 or 9 laps now. Working lap number 20 right now. So we've had about 10 laps of green flag action. And just as I say that, they will begin to close the gap a little bit, Doug, and they've got some lap traffic in front of them.
Now, G.E. Chapman's got a chance now. If Mendenhall has to come up the racetrack and get out of his groove, you might see Chapman stick his nose in there. He's got Randy Thornton, who's already been involved in a couple of accidents in front of him here, and G.E. will take a peek, but Steve's not giving him much room, and we got another car turned around backwards.
And that's coming off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. The car facing away from us, so we can't see the number, but that will bring out the caution flag. It looked like he did not make contact with anybody coming off of turn 2, and it looks like he's going to be able to turn that car. It's the 14 car.
So I think that's Sam McCullough there who got spun around, and he'll come up and join the action again. Sam out of Snellville, Georgia, the McCullough Electric Legends car, and he'll join the pack. We've had a few cars get lapped here as Mendenhall and G.E. Chapman, John Craig, and Brian Sockwell. We've had 4 different leaders here in about 22 laps. That says a little something about the level of competition.
Boy, it really is. I tell you, I'm really excited about this thing. This is really an ideal racetrack for these cars. I've watched them run at Charlotte, on that flat quarter of a mile out there in front of the grandstand. And those guys really, they have to hook slide the car. And these guys have got some bank to work with, and tires now are working good. And I tell you what, if this is any indication of what we're seeing later, I tell you what, everybody stay tuned.
I think it will be a real good indication of what we're going to be taking a peek at as we've got a rundown here as we're about 22 laps into this 35-lap feature. Steve Mendenhall is our leader. G.E. Chapman rides second. Third right now is going to belong to John Craig. And our 4th place machine will be the 4U machine of Brian Sockwell. Red Paris is 5th. And 6 is going to go to Tommy Hamby. And 7th will be the 49 machine. And
that'll be Bobby DeCola,
the taxi cab car.
That's right. Green flag's back out, and Mendenhall got a good restart, buddy.
Yeah, he really did. He got through the gears good. Looks to me like he's got an Earnhardt transmission in that thing.
If he does, they need to tear that thing down before the night's over.
He opened up about an 8-car length advantage there on the restart. So now we'll have to see if Chapman can reel him back in again with the 29 car.
25 laps on the board, 10 to go. So this has turned into a trophy dash here. And Steve Mendenhall has got his machine hooked up. Steve works on his cars. He helps prepare other Legends cars. And that's got to give him some kind of advantage because he really knows the inner workings of these machines.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I walked through the garage area a while ago, they were talking about one engine and won about 3 races, and these guys keep swapping it back and forth. Darrell, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he used the engine, and it's a loaner type deal. One guy builds a bunch of engines for everybody, and I'll tell you what, it's a neat deal down there. Everybody seems to get along good. And and that's what it's all about, I tell you.
It's a great series to get in lap time and not have to go and mortgage the farm to do it. And I think that's the best thing you can say about Legends car racing. And it's competitive and fun.
Doug, what kind of money do these guys usually run for?
I think tonight they're paying like $700-800 prize money, and I think that's fairly typical. I don't think anybody gets into Legends car racing to build their retirement fund, but if you're pretty successful at it, you can make your money to get back and forth to the track and maybe take a little home. And a lot of people have picked up major corporate sponsorships. Ocean Spray's in this. Chick-fil-A has got a car, and we may have another caution here.
We've got caution on the Speedway. So what this is going to do, that's going to erase that big lead that Mendenhall had over Chapman, and the laps are beginning to wind down. So we're going to set that up for you. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back with more racing from Anderson Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. And we're back at Anderson Motor Speedway. Hooters Cup late model action coming up for you in just a few minutes. Right now, we are right at the tail end of our 35-lap Legends car feature. And so far, the battle has been up front, Doug Rice.
It sure has been. Steve, we've had 4 different leaders. Currently, Steve Mendenhall is the leader. Riding in second is going to be G.E. Chapman. Brian Sockwell is third. Fourth will be John Craig. And fifth for the moment is Red Paris. So that's your top 5 cars. Tommy Hamby is 6th. 7th is Bobby DeCola. Then it's Wesley Thompson and Tim Bolton rounding out the top 9. And this thing's going to come down to a 5-lap shootout with Steve Mendenhall in the big sedan version, the Interstate Batteries colors, in car number 18 on the point.
And it looks like we're going back to green flag action. There are 30 laps in the books. There are just 5 laps to go, Doug Rice. And once again, as he did on the last restart, Mendenhall has got a good restart over Chapman.
I think Mendenhall may have the right gear, and I think his tires probably have the right setup. And these guys talk about tire temperatures a lot, even though this is a street comp
and
radial.
We've got trouble in turn number 1.
We've got one of our guys that started on the front row here in trouble now. That's Keith Martin in the multicolored 21 car, and I believe that's Nolan Crutchfield's car, the other machine that's sort of colored up like Jimmy Spencer's car. I think that's who that is.
The 22C automobile.
Maybe Nolan Crutchfield. We'll see here in a minute when we get a better shot.
And one of the drivers out of the cars looking over the damage. So, Buddy Parrott, we're down to 5 laps to go. I guess if these guys had radios and their crew chiefs were talking to them, you'd be telling them time to go.
I'll tell you what, we used to have a little saying with old Darrell Waltrip, and I'd always tell him to give me that Jack Ingram restart, and believe me, that was the big jump, and I think Mendenhall's got it worked out.
Now,
but
you're not saying Jack Ingram jumped the restart.
I'll tell you what,
maybe a little. He could get on it, couldn't he?
He really could. Iron Man was real tough and a great racer, and I tell you what, I think he's still running the car, and if he's listening tonight, hello, Jack.
Jack certainly is running the car at my home track, 411 Motor Speedway in Knoxville, Tennessee. Has a driver by the name of Randy Ollis driving for him in the late model stock division. So I'm glad you brought that up, buddy. We'll be watching for that now.
How's he doing up there? How's Jack's car?
He's been doing very well. They didn't start out the first of the season there, but they started off about mid-season. They've already worked their way up into the 10th spot in the points, so they are a very consistent top 5 runner.
Saw Jack Ingram run a lot of Grand National races. Of course, he was the old Grand National champion a lot back when they called it the Sportsman Series. And then he kept running competitively. I think he ran his last competitive race, maybe at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they had a big announcement, and Skoll took real good care of him. But what a class act. We're back under caution here, as you can see. A couple of cars tangled up on the racetrack, and the track officials down attending to it, and that is right in the apex of turns 1 and 2, and that's taken out one of our front row sitters, Keith Martin, in the 21 ATAC wrecker machine, and unfortunately they've had to bring out a wrecker to hook up to him tonight. They've also developed for the Legends cars, don't have it here tonight, but one of the drivers developed a big hook that comes out and hooks to the top of the cars right under the roll bars and lifts it up off the ground, and they can take it back to the garage, and they don't have to drag it around and do a lot of other damage. And actually, buddy, they're trying to develop one for Winston Cup cars so they could just lift the thing up, especially when you have an incident where you have to put them up on a rollback.